Yo, what up guys, Felix from John Lifestyle. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the biggest components to financial success. If not the biggest component, it's right in second place. So I would say one of the biggest components to financial success is not this one, it's obviously income. No matter how you slice the cake, how you skin the cat, whatever saying you want to use, you need to be bringing in income. I would say in America at this very date and time of this video, you should be making no less than $10,000 per month. Some people might sound like that's a lot. Yes, that is six figures, but with the price of everything, you need to be making a substantial amount of money. Gallons of gas is what, $4 or $5 a gallon, depending on where you live, if not more. Rent, the average national rent is what, $2, $3. If you live on the East Coast, closer to New York or any big major cities, it could go $4, $5, $6, $7,000 a month for rent. So you definitely need to be bringing in income. But the second most important factor to achieving financial success, and you can read it in dozens and dozens of financial success books, you can read it in literally every financial success book that there is out there, is it's living below your means. One of the biggest mistakes that you see people make that even aren't actually financially successful is they'll get a check for, say, what's the average income, for the average American or the average person who lives in the United States, just the average person in general. They're probably making somewhere between $3,500 and maybe $4,500 or $5,000. I would say somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 or $3,000 and $6,000 per month, which is the national, average of how much people make. And just say they make, $6,000 per month, right? And what most people fall into this trap is kind of twofold. One, they're comparing themselves to everybody. And a lot of people, one moment, I have to close one of these blinds because it's messing up my lighting. We're coming back right now. So, one of the biggest mistakes that people make, right, is when they make money, they compare themselves to others, right? So, on the incline, they always want to see how they line up with everybody. One of the biggest mistakes on your journey of success, don't worry about whatever stage anybody else is at. Everybody is on their own journey. But the biggest mistake you can make is living above your means. So if you make $6,000 per month and just say your rent is $2,000, now you're down to $4,000, and now we're going to call this after tax, right? $4,000. We're going to say that you are a W-9 employee or W-2, whatever it's called. So $4,000. Say you have another, $3,000 or so in expenses, whether it's between your car, your living expenses, your day-to-day spending, and you're left with what, $500, maybe $1,000 in income or money to put to the side, to put in your nest egg, to put in your savings, to put in your investments, to put in your retirement, and then 2 weeks go by, 2 weeks, you get another $3,000 check, and you keep doing the same thing over and over and over. I know entrepreneurs, I know of different people, inside of my network and outside of my network that make a lot of money. But when you level up their lifestyle, right? And it's cool if you got the money coming in, if you got $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month coming in. But it's something that I've made the mistake of time and time and time again. I mean, just the other day, I've been doing very well for myself, and you just get this itch, this urge that sometimes you just can't get away, and you want to buy things, you want to spend money. I just bought this giant lifestyle tattoo. I'll put it up on the screen if you could see, and it's my logo. And sometimes you get the urge to spend things, but it's important. And it's okay if you do that, but it's important that you're parking the money away in investments, into your retirement, and then back into your business. See, my personal expenses are very low. My rent is low. My expenses are low. I choose to rent because I don't want to live in any of my properties, and I don't want to buy a house at this very moment, so I choose to rent. But I try to keep my living expenses and my personal expenses low. I don't have a lot of personal expenses. Now my business expenses for all my different businesses, my payroll, my employees, my property taxes, all that stuff, that's pretty substantial and pretty high. But my businesses pay for that, and all that stuff is a write-off. But one of the biggest mistakes people make when either trying to build towards success or try to become successful is whatever comes in, they're quick to spend it, they're quick to spend it, they're quick to spend it. And then they get on this lifestyle of not only spending, but then they start buying into a lifestyle that they can never escape. See, if you buy a new house, if you buy a new car, if you buy a new boat, if you buy a new jet ski, and you might have good credit, and now you're leveraging your credit to buy all these things. In the beginning, it might not be bad, but when you have a $200 payment here, a $300 payment there, a $100 payment there, a $400 payment here, it's going to compound, and now that $3,000 a week or a bi-weekly check or $1,500 a week check that you get, it might sound like a lot, but when it all boils down, and you pay your rent, you pay your mortgage, and you pay your car note, and you pay your insurance, and you pay all your little luxuries, and you buy a new pair of Jordans every week, that money quickly dwindles. You'll be very surprised, and I'm sure everybody can attest to this, that $5,000, $10,000 isn't as much money as you think, especially in today's day and age. Now, if you take that money to other countries and go outside of the United States, the US dollar is very powerful in other countries. But in this very country, the US dollar isn't that strong based on what the prices of everything costs. So one of the most important things, or two of the most important things to achieving financial freedom is, yes, making money, making income, right? I typically say you should have 10x your bills. So if your bills are $2,000 a month, you should be making 20. If your bills are $3,000 a month, you should be making 30. If your bills are, $1,000 a month, you should be making no less than $10,000 a month, and that's for anybody over the age of 21, 22. I mean, the younger you start, the better. But if you're over the age of 21, you should be making at least $10,000 per month. But when you start making that money, make sure you're parking, obviously, depending on how the money comes in, whether it's, you work for an employer or you're self-employed, some is going towards taxes if that's a category of budget that you have. Some is going for investments, some is going retirement, some going back into your business, and then you're maybe spending 10 to 20% of your income. But what I see with a lot of people, business owners and non-business owners, is they'll maybe park 10 or 20% of what 10 or 20% is what they should actually be spending. Instead, they're saving and investing 10 or 20% and blowing 80%, right? So that's one of the biggest traps. You can get bought into a lifestyle you can't escape, and then you look up 10, 20 years later, and really all you have is a bunch of material items, but you don't actually have any true financial wealth, true financial freedom that will allow you to say, hey, I don't want to work this job, I don't want to do this business or career at this point, I want to pivot and do something else. But because all you have is luxury items to show for it that have very low resale value, you have to keep going out there and chasing the dollar and keep working. Yet if you were to just put those possessions to the side, or slowly have accumulated those possessions instead of every week or every bi-weekly going out and buying a pair of shoes or a new jacket or whatever it is, then you could increase your chance to wealth, increase your time to wealth, increase your time to retirement, and still get these at the same time. But too many people go out there, keep up with the Joneses, want to look rich instead of actually be rich, or want to look wealthy instead of actually be wealthy, and now they have to go back on that hamster wheel and keep working and working and working when they could have done it right from the beginning. So when you start making money, make sure you have the money continuously coming in, but make sure money management is a high priority for you, because if not, you will pay the price. I've been down that road a handful of times where I got a lot of money coming in and I struggle to hold on to it. But now I've set up a lot of good investments where I could spend a little bit of money and I know the money will come back, while at the same time the money that I do spend is money that is in my 10 to 20% spending budget, not my 80% spending budget and then maybe 10% investments. I try to invest like literally 70 to 80% of my money, and the little bit extra that I do have for me, then I spend on myself. So there you guys have it. The second biggest component, if not the most biggest component, because I've said this in other videos, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And if you're living above your means, you'll never get rich. You'll never become financially successful. You'll never get wealthy. So make sure you're living below your means and you're not spending more than you're making. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it. Uploads might differentiate as far as upload schedule, because I am going on a vacation for my birthday. Again, thank you guys so much for the support, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.